We usually think of pilots as the ultimate bosses of the sky. They have the cool uniforms, the best view in the world, and they're in charge of a multi-million-dollar machine. But did you know that inside that cockpit, their lives are actually incredibly restricted? There are things you and I do every single day without thinking, like eating the same meal as a friend or having a bit of a beard, that are off limits for pilots the moment they step on board. Today, we're looking at 13 ordinary things pilots can't do, and the fascinating reasons why safety always comes first. Number 1, eat the same meal. First up is dinner time. If the captain chooses the chicken, the co-pilot will usually get the beef or the pasta. It's not actually an FAA law, but almost every major airline makes it mandatory policy. It started after real food poisoning incidents in the 70s and 80s. If one meal has bad bacteria, the airline needs to make sure the other pilot stays healthy to fly the plane. It's all about having a backup plan. Number 2, grow a thick beard. You might see pilots with a neat mustache, but rarely a full, bushy beard at U.S. airlines. Why? The traditional worry is that if the cabin loses pressure, a thick beard can create a gap between skin and oxygen mask, letting oxygen leak out. The FAA doesn't ban beards outright, it just requires a perfect mask seal, and newer studies show beards often work fine. Still, most carriers keep the clean-shaven rule for now. Number 3, listen to music with headphones. We all love a good playlist while traveling, but pilots have to keep their ears open. Federal law actually prohibits personal devices on the flight deck during operation. They need to hear every ping from the instruments and every word from air traffic control. Even when autopilot is on, they are constantly listening to the health of the plane.
Number 4, have a chat during takeoff. There's a rule called the sterile cockpit. Below 10,000 feet, pilots aren't allowed to talk about their weekend or tell jokes. They can only speak about the flight itself. The FAA created this rule in 1981 after crashes caused by distraction. Takeoff and landing are the most intense parts of the journey, and they need 100% focus. Number 5, fall asleep at the same time. On long flights, pilots do take turns resting, but they can never both nap at once. In the US, they aren't even allowed to take a quick, controlled nap in their seats, like pilots in some other countries. American airlines use relief pilots and hidden bunks instead. One person must always be in the loop, watching the screens and the weather. Number 6, use polarized sunglasses. Most expensive sunglasses are polarized to reduce glare, but pilots often avoid them. Why? Modern cockpit screens have special filters that can react with polarized lenses, making the screens look completely black if you tilt your head. Pilots need to see their gadgets from every angle, so they stick to non-polarized aviators. Number 7, read a novel. It might seem like a long flight would be a great time to finish a book, but pilots aren't supposed to get lost in a story. Reading a novel counts as a non-essential activity, which is banned during critical phases. They stay focused by reading flight manuals or checking weather updates instead. Number 8, use their personal phones. Just like passengers, pilots keep their phones off or on airplane mode, but for them, it's federal law, not just courtesy. It's not just about signal interference, it's about avoiding distractions. A quick text could mean missing a very important instruction from the ground. Number 9, leave the cockpit alone. A pilot can't just pop out to the bathroom and leave the other pilot alone. Since the German Wings tragedy in 2015, most airlines worldwide follow a two-person rule, so a flight attendant has to step inside the cockpit first. This ensures that if the remaining pilot has a sudden medical problem, there is someone there to open the door. It's airline policy, not an FAA regulation everywhere, but it's become standard practice. Number 10. Take common cold medicine. If a pilot has a stuffy nose, they can't just take any over-the-counter pill. Many cold medicines make you a little bit sleepy or foggy, and at high altitude, those effects feel much stronger.
The FAA doesn't publish a full list, but the guidance is strict. No flying for at least 12 hours after most antihistamines, and drugs like Benadryl are prohibited. They can only use very specific approved medications.
Number 11. Ignore a warning light. In a car, you might ignore a low tire light for a day. In a plane, never. Even if a pilot thinks a sensor is just being moody, they're legally required to follow the checklist for that specific light. In aviation, you never assume, you always verify. Number 12. Drink alcohol, even 8 hours before. The FAA rule is 8 hours from bottle to throttle, with a hard limit of 0.04% blood alcohol and zero tolerance for being under the influence. Many airlines make it even stricter, like 12 or 24 hours. Alcohol affects your inner ear, which controls your balance. If a pilot is flying through clouds and can't see the horizon, they need their inner ear to be perfectly sharp. And number 13, turn off the crash avoidance system. Planes have a system called TCAS, or Traffic Collision Avoidance System, that talks to other planes nearby. If it screams climb, the pilot must do it immediately. They aren't allowed to argue with the computer or wait for air traffic control permission. In that split second, the machine's math is faster than a human's reaction, and following the resolution advisory is mandatory worldwide. So, the next time you board a flight, remember that your pilots are following a massive list of rules just to keep you safe, including skipping that bearded look or that extra spicy chicken dinner. Which of these rules surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into how the world works. Thanks for watching.